Well, it's been a couple days since the Steelers season abruptly ended. So let's talk about what the offseason has in store. Uh, First and foremost, obviously, the big news coming out of the past few days is that Mike Tomlin has officially stepped down as the Steelers head coach, been there for 19 years. I gave my full immediate thoughts on that yesterday, you're going to be seeing this Wednesday, so you're going to see this Wednesday, but I gave my thoughts on Tuesday when it happened. Regardless, that's obviously the big news. So the Steelers are going to have a new head coach for the first time in 19 years. That's obviously the big news. So we'll see who gets hired. I'll of course give my reactions to that when it does happen. But regardless, Steelers still have a long list of questions that they need to answer. So I guess we'll start off with free agents that are going to be upcoming free agents. And we'll start with the big one, of course, Aaron Rodgers. Now, it's been speculated that he might retire. Was that the last game we'll ever see of Aaron Rodgers? If you ask me, I think it is, and I think that the nail in the coffin was when Tomlin decided to step down. The only reason Aaron Rodgers came to Pittsburgh in the first place was to play for Mike Tomlin. Now that Mike Tomlin is gone, it doesn't really feel like he has very much incentive to play for the Steelers anymore. And on top of that, he's a free agent anyways, so the Steelers would have to re-sign him what would probably be a one-year deal. At this point, I think it's safe to say that he's probably going to retire. Of course, still very early in the offseason. Who knows what he's going to do, but that would be my guess at this moment in time. Is that Aaron Rodgers is going to retire, and the Steelers are going to have, once again, another new Week 1 starting quarterback. Adam Thielen, he's already said that was going to be his last season, so he's out the door as well. Now you have some free agents. The two free agents I would like to see back would be Kenneth Gainwell. I think he is the number one priority this offseason. And Miles Killebrew. Obviously, Killebrew, he got hurt last season, didn't play a ton, but when he has played in past seasons, he's been really good on special teams. So I would like to see him back. I'm not sure if they're going to do that, however. Just, given his age, I think he is 32, 33, something like that. He's getting up there, so I don't know if it'd probably be like a 2-year deal, and that's fine. However, guys like Kyle Duggar, Andrus Peat, Isaac Sumalo, it's really hard to vouch for Isaac Sumalo to be back on this team after what we saw on Monday night. I mean, the offensive line improved this year, if you ask me, but they were really bad. They were really bad on Monday night, and that's to be expected against a really good Houston front, but it's really hard for me to vouch for Isaac Sumalo to be back. There was one play where he got absolutely bulldozed, and I think that led to a sack. It was really bad for Sumalo and just the entirety of the offensive line. It's hard for me to vouch for him, and that's a shame because he has been decent for a lot of the season when he's been healthy. But it's hard for me to imagine him coming back. I also don't think Kyle Duggar's going to come back. Daniel Ikuwale, of course, he got hurt. I don't think he'll be back. Cole Holcomb, he's been hurt for a large chunk of his tenure here. I don't think he'll be back. Dean Lowry, he's a depth guy. Doesn't get much playing time. I'd be surprised if they bring him back. Isaiah Loudermilk, same story. He's a depth guy on the defensive line. I'd be surprised if they bring him back. Chuck Clark, I don't want anywhere near here. Andrus Peat, maybe you bring him back just as a depth piece, but he's getting up there. I think he'll be 33 at the start of next season. He's 32 right now. I mean, maybe, again, you bring him back as a depth piece, possibly. Scotty Miller, he might get signed to the practice squad. Trey Flowers, they only signed him a few days ago. I don't think he'll be coming back. Jabril Peppers, I hope he's not back. I didn't love what I saw from him this season. Donald Parham, the tight end, get him out of here. Speaking of tight ends, I want Jonnu Smith out of here. What does Jonnu Smith bring to the table that all three of the other tight ends don't? Because Connor Hayward, of course, he has the niche of being utilized with the tush push. Of course, Darnell Washington is just a monster, if you will. I was trying to find the right word. He's a monster. And Pat Freiermuth is the most talented tight end on the team, but he gets underutilized because we throw it to Jonnu Smith. So I would like to see Jonnu Smith gone. And I think that's very possible if Arthur Smith, who I'll get to later, finds another team. Donald Parham, as I said, I want him gone. Max Sharping, they might bring him back. Maybe. I don't think they will. Maybe they'll re-sign him as a depth piece. Skylar Thompson, he's been on the practice squad most of the season. He'll probably be sent off somewhere. Now, Calvin Austin is a free agent. This is one I wouldn't mind the Steelers re-signing. And if you ask me, I think you kind of have to. I think you kind of have to re-sign him. He's a small guy. I think he's, 5'11", 5'10", something like that. But he was born to be a slot receiver, if you ask me. And, I mean, you see his talent. He's really fast, man. I really like him a lot. I wouldn't mind if the Steelers brought him back. I really wouldn't. Maybe on like a 2-year deal. A team-friendly 2-year deal. I would love that. But I think you almost have to just for wide receiver depth. Ryan McCollum, he's a restricted free agent. So is Otu Omenu. I think that's how you say his name. They're just depth guys. They don't really get a ton of playing time. Corliss Waitman, the punter, I would like to see him back. I think he showed I think he was pretty good this season. Evan Hull, running back, he's gone. Connor Hayward, I wouldn't mind seeing him back on like a short, cheap 2-year deal. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, as I said, he has that niche of being the guy on the tush push, even though I think it should be Darnell Washington, just given how large he is. But, I wouldn't mind seeing Connor Hayward back. As long as it's a cheap deal. And he doesn't take away snaps from Freiermuth or Washington, so I like him in that regard. So I wouldn't mind seeing him back. But those are all the free agents that are slated to become this offseason. As for the coordinators, because, usually when you have a head coach leave for whether they get fired, usually the coordinators go with them. I hope Danny Smith is back. I love Danny Smith. He can stay here forever. But Arthur Smith, I hope he takes a head coaching gig. I know I know the Titans have been interested in him, probably as an offensive coordinator. I hope he goes over there. That'd be great. Good for him. I wouldn't love seeing him back here. Terrell Austin, I don't want anywhere near the Steelers. I didn't love the hire at the time. I don't love it now. For context, he was the defensive coordinator back on the 0-16 Lions. He was defensive coordinator for the Bungles for a while. He didn't do great either of those places. And then the Steelers brought him in. I didn't love the hire at the time. I really don't like it now. I hope he gets sent to Mars. And then Danny Smith, as I said, I want him to stay. I love Danny Smith. But as I said, you don't know with coordinators after a head coach leaves. So all in all, where does this leave the Steelers? They have the 21st overall pick. Sound familiar? They've had that pick for years now, it seems. And at this point, it's just a matter of what would the Steelers like to do They have, I think, about $23 million in cap space, if I'm not mistaken. And to be clear, I'm no expert with the salary cap, so I'm not completely sure, but I think I saw they had like 23 million in cap space. But of course, that's before, all the dead cap and whatnot. So who knows what it actually is. But yeah, all in all, the Steelers are not in a pretty spot right now. I think with that 21st overall pick, this is without me looking at any of the players, by the way. I usually don't do that until March, April, somewhere around there. Personally, I'd like to see a linebacker. I think the Patrick Queen signing has been a bit of a disappointment. He's had his games here and there. He's had good games here and there. But for the most part, I think it has been a bit of a disappointment, at least compared to what the Steelers wanted. At the time, I think I might have mentioned this at the time. Maybe I wasn't making videos. I don't quite remember. I don't think I was making videos. But regardless, what I told people was Patrick Queen had his best season the full year Roquan Smith was with the Ravens. I don't think that's a coincidence. And I think the Ravens noticed that as well. And that's why I think they were okay with letting him walk in free agency. And so I think that's kind of what you're seeing here with the Steelers. As I said, he's been good. I believe he was our leading tackler this season. But for the most part, he's been okay. He's had his good games here and there. Joey Porter, JPJ, he was spectacular this season. I think they showed a stat in the Monday Night Football game where he hadn't allowed a touchdown on like 1,036 snaps or something. That's crazy. I didn't realize he was that good. All right. But typically, if you're a cornerback and you're not getting yelled at by me, that's usually a good thing. Brandon Echols, he was okay. I don't have any complaints with him. James Pierre had a really good season when he had to come in. Deshaun Elliott, I think the Steelers definitely felt that loss, especially towards the end of the season. Specifically in that Ravens game, I think they definitely felt that loss. He's going to be coming back healthy next year, so I think that is a really good thing for the Steelers. I would like to see the Steelers either draft the first-round linebacker or a first-round receiver. But the problem with them drafting a receiver in the first round is that I don't know how much they utilize him. I don't know. And who knows who the quarterback is going to be. At this point, I don't have a guess. It could be a first-round rookie. It could be Mason Rudolph. It could be Will Howard. Who knows? Maybe they re-sign Skylar Thompson and he's a starting quarterback. I hope not. I hope that's not the case, but who knows? Yeah, it's not a pretty situation for the Steelers right now. It really, really isn't. But regardless, I'm going to be here the entire time. I hope it gets better. But right now, I think that the Steelers are going to plunge into darkness for a good couple years here. But that's just my prediction. Just given everything that's, happening. And we'll see. Anyways, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed. If you could bear to watch me for, 14 minutes? Anyways, that's it. Don't die. Go Steelers. I'm going to have a few hockey videos probably coming out soon. Maybe I'll have a baseball video coming out here and there. Maybe just breaking down free agency, whatnot. Who knows? Regardless, hope you enjoyed. Don't die.